Live, local, social. It's the Splash Live on Civic Center TV. Hello, friends and neighbors, and welcome to the show. I'm your host, Jake Schaff, bringing you all of the latest stories and events from right here in Greater West Bloomfield. Right in Keego Harbor, a beloved eatery is celebrating a major milestone. Buscemi's in Keego Harbor is celebrating their 70th anniversary in the community. Now, there are many Buscemi's around the state of Michigan, but it was Keego Harbor's that started it all 70 years ago, providing incredible food and establishing great memories in the community. Buscemi's is celebrating their milestone anniversary all throughout the month of April with different deals and ways to celebrate. I stopped by the pizza place to speak with some of the workers on why Buscemi's has stood the test of time and why it means so much to the community.
Buscemi's, we like to give back to the community. Our community's been so welcoming to us these past years, and in order to celebrate our 70th year here, we wanted to give back, and we're just running a bunch of specials for the month of April, and every day's got a new special. They feature a little 70 notion, I'd say. So it's just kind of giving back every single day and seeing what we can do for the community.
And I mean, 70 years, that truly shows how much something has become a staple of the community and for customers to keep stopping by and to be enjoying this great food year after year.
Yeah, so that's the thing, is just kind of producing quality, giving the people what they want. We're very receptive to feedback. Any special requests that customers have, we're always ready to give it to them. We constantly update our menu, and we're always putting new stuff in our hot tub, just trying new things and trying to see what the community likes, and we love serving good food to everybody.
It's impacted the community really well. We love to give back with good deals, bring positive energy here. We want the customers to come here happy, leave with a smile, come in with a smile, and just help out everybody in the community. The food is great. When you work here almost every day, you eat a lot. It makes you very, very happy. And anyone who comes in here will be happy, I can tell you that much.
They love it. They're always talking about it. They're like, wow, Buscemi's been around for 70 years. And, obviously I haven't been around for 70 years to experience it all. But everybody that comes in here is happy. They always got a smile on their face. We smile with everyone who comes in. We're just trying to be friendly and, connect with the community.
And last question, what do you hope Buscemi's continues to bring to Keego Harbor and to Greater West Bloomfield in the next several years?
Good food, good customer service. Everybody walks out of here with a smile. That's the biggest thing for us, and we just love getting good feedback. And as long as people keep on telling us our food is great, we're going to keep on providing it. And if anybody wants us to change in some way, we're always receptive to feedback, and we're ready to adapt whichever way we may need to.
I hope they it remembers the food, the people that work here, and just overall the name and how long it's been around for, and the great people that have made the name bigger and bigger. And yeah, that's really it.
70 years of great food and even better memories. A big congratulations to Buscemi's in Keego Harbor. Hope a lot of residents stop by, enjoy the food, and give this place the congratulations and the respect that they absolutely deserve for all the work that they've done in the community. Here in West Bloomfield, we always love to shine a light on the younger members of the community, as does the West Bloomfield School District. Recently, the West Bloomfield Youth Recognition Awards ceremony took place at West Bloomfield Middle School, celebrating the students that have made an impact on their school, their community, and everyone they meet. I spoke with some of the award recipients to hear what they had to say on being honored by West Bloomfield.
It was actually great. I felt proud of myself and the things that I were doing and the music that I'm making and the impact that it has on everyone around me, and it was great. It was truly a blessing just to know that there's people who really understand and truly appreciate the things that kids are doing. And for her to even ask me to do that event, it was wow, you want me to perform for something that's so powerful and has an amazing impact. It was great.
It honestly felt great that my teachers recognized my work and that they were sharing my work with the other people too around me, like my peers, and also my family was here, so everybody got to see the work that I do. So it felt good that they were acknowledging what I've done for the community and showing it to the world too.
Well, I was nominated from the multicultural department, and it's because I've been able to achieve a lot of things as person who speaks another language, and it's a little bit hard sometimes, and it's been really amazing to see that grow in high school and in other parts outside school too, and it's great. It's great.
It's great for the students, but it's also great for the community because everybody gets to come together to celebrate one common cause, and like they get to celebrate everybody's accomplishments and everybody's work that they've put into either their school communities or just the community in general. And so it's also really great for the students because it shows how like it just honestly really just recognizes them, and it gives them something like to look forward to.
What are you hoping to inspire in other kids who might be watching these Youth Assistance Awards and what they might be able to accomplish in the future?
I just want them to see everyone who is up there and never compare themselves to them, but always try to be, as one of the persons who were there, they were saying something about being successful and what success means to them, and just like really focusing on what makes them happy and being able to achieve whatever they want based on what they like, based on what they make them happy.
I think it's amazing that they do this, just to know that it's letting the kids know that they're doing something and they're recognized and they see you, like they see us and the things that we're doing. So it pushes us to continue to keep forward and doing what we're doing.
It provides inspiration all throughout the greater West Bloomfield community. It was amazing to see all of these kids get the recognition they deserve for the work that they've done, and we hope to continue to see them implementing even greater change throughout greater West Bloomfield as they get older. The Michigan National Council of Jewish Women is launching a major fundraising campaign to raise $500,000 to sustain and secure the future of its long-running Kosher Meals on Wheels program that was originally established back in 1973. The program delivers approximately 25,000 kosher meals annually, serving as a lifeline for homebound adults aged 60 and older throughout the West Bloomfield area and surrounding communities. Here to tell us more about what's available in greater West Bloomfield is Amy Zeskind, the president of the Michigan National Council of Jewish Women. Amy, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
Of course, this is such a great program that's happening in West Bloomfield, providing so much for the residents. What makes this program especially vital for seniors in the West Bloomfield community?
You know, it is a lifeline for them because the people that are benefiting from the program are people that are homebound and their families are not necessarily nearby. And so by us delivering meals to them 5 days a week, they are getting a touch point not only of food, nutritious, delicious food, but also a human to interact with them, to make sure that they are okay, and to check in with them.
That's right. It's providing way more than just great food for these residents, but it sounds like it's also providing emotional and social well-being for these participants as well. Is that correct?
It's exactly correct. I mean, we cannot just deliver a meal and drop it off at the door. We have to see the participant. We have to know that they are okay, that they are receiving the food. And so our drivers, for example, they come daily to go see these participants. So they know, oh, this person seems a little different today, or so-and-so could maybe use a little extra attention today. And then those drivers can go back to the care management team and say, hey, can you give an extra check-in to so-and-so? Or contact the family and say, I think you really need to reach out to your family member and check in with them today.
That's amazing that they're working together to really keep an eye on everybody in the community, looking out for these seniors, making sure that they're being cared for. Now, a lot of people reap the benefits of this program. Can you describe the typical experience for someone receiving meals through this Meals on Wheels program?
Sure. I mean, you can't just magically have meals delivered. We need to know about you, right? So they would reach out to the care management team, which is managed by Jewish Family Service. And they would then say, here's what your needs are, here's what your meal preferences are, here's how long you think you might be on the program. And then that process is a very quick process. And then our meals start getting delivered daily, Monday through Friday. So I can go into very specific details, or that's the general, overview of it.
Sounds like a really thorough process for everybody to get these meals. And about these meals themselves, I'd imagine it sounds like the quality of these meals is top notch for the residents, but what kind of meals can they typically expect in terms of variety?
So they are given a menu every month, and they can say, you know what, I love this meal, I'm gonna take it, or you know what, that's not really my thing, so I'm not gonna take it. So they have some say in there. We obviously take into consideration food allergies, or if you're a vegetarian, and the meals are incredible. Now, it is a federally funded program, and so we are required to provide a very balanced meal as well. So it is going to have the right balance of proteins and fats and fruits and vegetables and from a variety of sources. So you're not just getting the same meal every single day.
That's good, providing a little bit of variety for everybody, but making sure that all the major food groups are represented in these meals, exactly what residents want to have. Now, I'd imagine when it comes to a service like this one, these really come in handy, especially maybe for some short-term situations that maybe some residents might be dealing with. What kinds of short-term situations might lead someone to rely on this service?
That's right. There are a variety of reasons, but the main one we see is I'm having a surgery coming up. And I know I'm not going to be able to get out and get my own meals. And I could really rely on this for a short-term stint, whether it's a few weeks, a few months. And we're there for that. We're there for that just as much as we are for those who need it, daily for forever and ever.
For those just joining us on the Splash Live, I'm talking with Amy Zeskin, the president of the Michigan National Council of Jewish Women, talking with me about their Meals on Wheels program that was established all the way back in 1973 and their major fundraising campaign to raise $500,000 to sustain the future of this program. Now, Amy, $500,000, what inspired the launch of this fundraising campaign at this time?
Well, a few things. One, the program has obviously been going on, like you said, since 1973. We do rely heavily on federal funding, and that is not a guaranteed funding, as we have learned in the last few years, that is not guaranteed, and never it was guaranteed anyway. But in the last year and a half, it's really been made very clear that we cannot count on that. And so we, knowing that this is an essential service for our community, for Oakland County, but as you're talking about West Bloomfield, it needs to be able to be sustainable. We need to make sure that this program exists, whether one participant wants it or thousands of participants want it. We want to make sure that there's no barrier to somebody receiving kosher Meals on Wheels.
That's right, and it's important that we get the message about programs like this out in the open for people to become aware of it and to help support it, which we absolutely want to make happen. Now, I want to talk a little bit about the Meals on Wheels Perpetuity Fund, how will that change the long-term sustainability of the program?
Thank you for asking. So the program costs hundreds of thousands of dollars a year to run. And so whether you're getting that money from federal funding, from grants, from private donations, all of those sources are incredible. With a $500,000 perpetuity fund, we are saying we've got you covered for the long run. Because although the program costs hundreds of thousands of dollars a year, we are still assuming we're going to get some of that other funding. And so this is that cushion that we will need to make sure that regardless of where that funding is coming from, people can still receive these meals.
That's amazing. Glad you guys are really thinking of everything to make sure that everything is secure and you're helping as many people as possible. And of course, a lot of this help comes from partnerships, especially with the Jewish Family Service of Metro Detroit. How does that partnership help enhance the level of care that patients receive or that participants receive?
Yes, we are really lucky because they have a team of care management professionals. They do all of the intake for us. So they are a true partner for us. They make sure that the client is in need of the program and that they are matched with the program in a timely manner so that we can quickly get these meals out. They make sure that if our volunteers go out into the field and see that somebody is really struggling today or they aren't answering the door at all, that we can immediately get in touch with Jewish Family Service who can reach out and get the appropriate help that they need. They also do the background check for our volunteers, and so they are incredibly helpful for us.
They absolutely sound helpful. Now, as we were talking about earlier, volunteers and especially people becoming aware of services like this play a huge role in helping to maintain that sustainability. What role do volunteers play, and what do they often take away from the experience of helping you guys?
You know, it's funny you say that because as all of us who volunteer know, we are trying to provide a service to the community, and we wind up usually getting the most out of it as the volunteer. Our volunteers can do anything from packing the food, which we require 3 to 4 volunteers a day just to pack the food up, and then 11 additional volunteers minimum a day to go on those 11 different routes needed to deliver the meals. So that's where the volunteers come in, and we are always in need of volunteers. So please reach out to us if you are interested. And like I said before, when they are going out to meet with the clients, they are the face to, they might be the only face that that client sees all day. And they're also the direct link from that face to case management if they need it.
That's great. All the great ways that volunteers can help to make a difference with this program. Amy, I got a couple more questions before we wrap things up. How can people in West Bloomfield get involved, whether through donations, volunteering, or spreading awareness for this program?
I really appreciate you asking that. So through our website, ncjwmi.org, they can make donations, which are incredibly helpful. Any denomination donation goes directly back into the community. So it is incredibly appreciated and vital. If you want to be a large donor, a small donor, we will take anything. As far as the volunteer component, if you want to volunteer, you can reach out to Jewish Family Service, and they will do your background check and get you all set up with a schedule with our coordinators so that you can get on that schedule right away. And then as far as spreading awareness, if you know somebody that could utilize kosher Meals on Wheels, whether it is for a short-term stint or a lifelong need, please do not hesitate, again, to reach out to Jewish Family Service, who will have a care manager talk to you and figure out how we can best help you.
I'd also like to remind everybody that April is National Volunteer Month, so this is the time to absolutely get into action and to be helping out programs like this one. Amy, I want to thank you so much for joining us today on the program. Last question, especially with your role with the service, what does it mean to you to see all of this help throughout the community and all of the difference that this program has had?
I mean, we are one community. So this happens to be Kosher Meals on Wheels, but we are nothing if we do not support our entire community, whether it is the youth, whether it is the elderly, anybody in between. And so for this to provide one portion of support for the community just makes the entire community stronger. And I'm very grateful that we have all the support that we do and the passionate volunteers to make this happen. And the donations, you know, obviously, because it all builds together. So we really appreciate it. And it is a true partnership with the whole community.
That's right. And to see the amount of impact that this program has had on a day-to-day basis and all of the people it's helped, I mean, it's truly inspiring. Amy, thank you so much for joining us today here on the Splash Live.
Thank you for having me. We really appreciate it.
Of course, once again, a major fundraising campaign raising $500,000 to sustain and secure the future of this long-running Kosher Meals on Wheels program. You've heard all of the impact it's had on the community. You definitely don't want this to go away. So if you are interested, there are many ways you can go out and help this program and its mission. We're just getting started here on the Splash Live. Plenty of other great stories and topics to get into right after this. Live, local, social. It's the Splash Live on Civic Center TV.
1 in 4 Michigan homes has high levels of radon, a naturally occurring radioactive gas known to cause lung cancer. It doesn't matter where you live or what type of home you have. You won't even know it's there unless you test. So don't wait. Testing is cheap and easy. And if there's a problem, it's simple to fix. Visit michigan.gov/radon to learn more.
We took action. Will you?
When you have a gambling problem, you have a money problem. Don't let your gambling cause you financial hardship. If you or someone you love is struggling with gambling, we can help. Get free confidential counseling and win your life back. Learn more at michigan.gov/problemgambling.
Floodwaters can rise fast. Take precautions to stay safe. Follow the instructions of local officials and all emergency notifications. If authorities say evacuate, don't wait. Do not walk, swim, or drive through floodwaters. Just 1 foot of water can sweep away a vehicle. Never drive around barricades. You don't know what danger may be on the other side. For more tips on how to protect your family, visit ready.gov/floods.
Live, local, social. It's the Splash Live on Civic Center TV. Welcome back to the show. I'm your host, Jake Sheff, going over all of the biggest news and stories from right here in Greater West Bloomfield. The West Bloomfield Township Public Library is hosting an Evening with Patrick Ryan on Wednesday, April 22nd at 6:30 p.m. at Temple Beth El. Ryan will be in conversation with Library Director Kathy Russ and will discuss his debut novel, Buckeye, a widely acclaimed multi-generational family saga. The novel spans more than 40 years and explores themes of forgiveness, relationships, and small-town American life. Joining us now on the Splash Live to tell us more about the book is the author himself, Patrick Ryan. Patrick, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me. I'm so happy to be speaking with you.
Of course, we always love to talk about authors and some of the creativity that's being shown throughout Greater West Bloomfield. And this is your debut novel. Because you primarily worked in writing shorter stories, how did this experience differ from the work that you've done in the past?
Well, when you write a short story, you figure out pretty soon if it's working or not. And so it would tend to be maybe a month to 6 months of my life, and then I would move on if something wasn't working, or I'd be finished by then and move on. But with the novel, you have to just take a lot on faith and wander in the dark. There's a great analogy that I think E.L. Doctorow has, where when you write a novel, you can only see as far as your headlights if you were driving in a car in the fog. But it's enough to get you where you're going. It's enough to get you that far and that far and that far. So that was how I did it. But I'd also written so many novels over the past that I couldn't publish. So in a way, this wasn't different, except the fact that this one took or caught on, as you might say, and actually seemed to catch the attention of some readers, which is great.
It absolutely is great. It certainly has made an impact on the community to be showcasing your book in this way. How long did it take to bring this idea of Buckeye from concept all the way to publication?
It was an 8-year journey.
Wow.
It was, yeah, I know. I didn't really plan on that. I didn't want it to be 8 years, but it was 6 years in my writing it and revising it for a few drafts. And then after it got accepted by a publisher, we worked on it for another 2 years. For maybe another 3 drafts over a 2-year period.
Wow. So a lot of work has really gone into making this book as amazing as it is. And it's a very intricate book as well. I mean, you're weaving together multiple timelines and perspectives. I mean, it sounds like a complicated process. What challenges did you face in really setting this story up and weaving everything together?
Oh, thanks. It was a new experience for me to be doing research of any deep dive. And I had to do a lot, of course, for this. I did it as I went, but it was a learning curve for me in terms of how seductive research is. Because once you start looking up some background things, you think, I want to use that. I want to use that. And of course, research is maybe finding out 20 facts and using one, or reading half of a book so that you can have your character just refer to the book in a conversation so that you can do it comfortably or with some confidence. So it was a lot of looking things up and taking a lot of notes that I then had to talk myself into not using, which might sound kind of goofy, but that's what I found research to involve a lot of.
Wow, a lot of work has gone into this book. And I'd like to remind people, your novel spans more than 40 years, over 4 decades of story in this book. What inspired you to tell such a sweeping, multi-generational story like this one?
I started off with an idea of 2 young married people who would make a mistake that would echo into their marriages, just echo across decades. And once I realized that I wanted to write a story like that, I realized I wanted to write about two different generations. And to write about two different generations really meant that I wanted to know about the generation that had come before the two people that I started off wanting to write about. So quickly the thing spread from my initial idea. It kind of seeped out in both directions in terms of some setup in the past, and then reaching into the kids of these main characters that I first came up with. So it pulled me into things like backgrounds of different wars. I didn't really anticipate how much those were going to factor into the story. But then if you have a story that's based in one place and covering, like you say, it covers actually about 60 decades, but the main story moves through 40. You end up having to account for a whole lot of change in the country and how that factors into the character of a place and these people's lives.
Wow, a lot of big themes in this book. And I'd also like to point out a central theme that's been described in this book is forgiveness. Why was that idea so important for you to explore, especially within Buckeye?
Oh, thank you. It's a really important thing for me because I think that on the surface, it can seem like something that's very simple. That's just one decision you would make. Do you forgive someone or not? Particularly when it's an important relationship in your life. But it can seem like something that's just a switch that you can flip. But I don't think it's ever like that. I think it's usually maybe a flip that needs a switch rather that needs reflipped every day, or instead of one decision, it's 100 decisions that you have to make over and over again. And I think that if we all were to approach forgiveness with more of an acknowledgement about how complicated, how hard it is, which doesn't make it any less vital, then we might make it through some rocky spots, maybe a little more successfully in life. I don't mean to make this sound like a self-help book or anything like that, but it was something that the more I got into exploring forgiveness, and in the same way, grief too, when I was exploring the nature of grief in the book, I thought, one of the things I was picking up on was it's not simple. It's much more complicated than we think it is. And it's probably never the same twice. We never really grieve the same way for any two different people. And I think that mainly it's just acknowledging that these things are layered and complicated and they're worth the deep dive.
These are complicated themes, but it sounds like there's a lot for people to take away when they read this book. For those just joining us on the Splash Live, I'm talking with author Patrick Ryan about his very, very wonderful book, Buckeye, and his upcoming event with the West Bloomfield Township Public Library on April 22nd, a conversation with Library Director Kathy Russ at Temple Beth El. Now, Patrick, your book has already received major national recognition. What has the response meant to you personally to see your book already make such an impact?
It's incredible. As I mentioned before, I've written a whole lot of things that didn't get published over the years, which I think is totally normal. And I'm no resentment about that whatsoever, because I feel like I was learning my craft. But the response that this book has gotten, it's exceeded the kind of thing I dreamed about when I was a kid and when I was, say, 16 or 20 and writing. To be able to feel like you've made a connection with so many people, and to have strangers writing to me and saying, yeah, that made sense to me, and I'd never seen that expressed that way, and it kind of touched on something that I went through. I'd never anticipated just the overwhelming feeling that would bring with it for me, to think that this thing because you work in isolation, of course. So for 6 years of writing this book, I didn't want to show it to anybody. I didn't want to talk about it with anybody. And so to go from that to having conversations with people who are saying, this really meant something to me, is wonderfully overwhelming. And I don't think I'll ever get used to it. I don't really ever want to get used to it.
It sounds like this really means a lot to you, and I completely understand why. All of this hard work paying off and to have made such an impact on everybody who reads it. And with this upcoming event that's taking place in West Bloomfield, what are you most looking forward to about speaking with readers here in the West Bloomfield community?
Meeting people face to face, for one thing. This is my last book came out in 2016. It's a collection of short stories. So the world changed so much in terms of, well, in every respect, but it changed a lot in terms of how we promote and talk about books. And this phenomenon of being able to get onto Zoom with book club is fantastic. And I've met so many people and have lost count of the number of groups that I've met with like that in the past 7 months. But the opportunity to meet people face to face and talk to them, there's nothing tops that. You know, there's nothing that touches on that. And so I'm really looking forward to going into a community and seeing, just hearing from readers in their community about this and about other things they've been reading too, and about sharing recommendations.
That's right. And I got a couple more questions before we wrap things up, Patrick. And you were just talking about how you've had like these Zoom meetings and talking with people about the impact your book has had. How do conversations like this, like the one that's going to be taking place in West Bloomfield, in-person events, how do those enhance the experience of storytelling, would you say?
In the same way that going to a movie in an audience enhances storytelling, and that even if you go see, I went and saw North by Northwest a year ago in a big theater. It's a movie I've seen so many times. Everybody's seen it a lot, but to watch it in a big audience and to share the collective breath that comes out of an audience, the laughter or just the little gasps, or seeing people nod and seeing people want to participate, and that thing that we all do where we sit up about 2 inches because we want to say something in a group setting, and I'm waiting for our chance. And I'm really looking forward to that. I'm also looking forward to maybe going a little deeper into this, something in the book that's super important to me, which is the notion that we're defined by our good deeds in life, but we should also be defined by what we do with our mistakes. And I like bringing that up in groups and seeing how people react to that, and how they process that and what it means to them. Because it's something I firmly believe in, but it's always interesting to hear how people talk about that, and it goes right back into the idea of forgiveness, of course.
I love that. Definitely a lot of great things to take away from this book. I might need to check this out myself. It really sounds like a great time. Patrick, last question before we wrap things up. What do you hope attendees take away after hearing you speak and reading Buckeye for themselves?
I hope that they take away an enthusiasm, well, selfishly, an enthusiasm to recommend the book to someone else. That would be awesome. But I hope that they take away a renewed enthusiasm for reading and for seeking out particularly longer stories too. I didn't think of this book as being such a doorstop, but compared to the average book coming out now, I guess it is on the longer side. But I think there's a lot that we can gain from settling down into a story for a long time. And so maybe that could be a part of what readers take away too, is the worth of just sinking into a long story.
That's right. And there's going to be so many great opportunities for people to get a chance to speak with you and to check out this book for themselves. Patrick, thank you so much for joining us today here on the Splash Live.
Thank you. Thank you very much for speaking with me.
Of course, once again, an evening with Patrick Ryan is going to be taking place on Wednesday, April 22nd at 6:30 p.m. at Temple Beth El. Great conversation Patrick Ryan will be having with Library Director Kathy Russ about the book Buckeye and all the great things that he's learned along the way. Hope to see a lot of residents out to enjoy that wonderful event. The 54th annual Greater West Bloomfield Michigan Week Community Awards Breakfast will be taking place on Thursday, May 7th at 7 a.m. The event was previously held at Temple Israel since 2023, but has been relocated following the March 12th tragedy that impacted that community, and instead will be taking place at the Shenandoah Country Club. This year's theme, United in Service, Together We Shine, reflects the strength and interconnectedness of the community. Dr. Kiana Smith is the chair of this year's breakfast, and she joined us on The Splash recently to tell us what we can expect. Kiana, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Of course, and really love talking about this Michigan Week. I mean, we look forward to it every single year. One of the biggest events in Greater West Bloomfield, and you were the chair of this year's celebration. What does it mean to you personally to be a part of the 54th annual Michigan Week celebration?
Yes. Well, being a part of the 54th annual Michigan Week celebration, it's very personal. It's very deeply personal for me. I lived in the West Bloomfield community for over 17 years. And all 5 of my children, we attended West Bloomfield School District. And I've had the privilege of working within the district. But what makes this moment especially meaningful is just being surrounded and being supported by individuals who are true pioneers in this community. These are people who have laid the foundation for so much of what makes West Bloomfield thrive. So now stand alongside them and in many ways just feel entrusted to carry that work forward is truly humbling. So it feels great.
I'd imagine so, and there's so much great work that's been done in Greater West Bloomfield, especially within the last several months. What makes this year's theme, United in Service, Together We Shine, especially meaningful right now?
Yes. Well, actually, when we first came up with the theme as a community, we discussed the celebration of the 250th birthday of our country. So it gave us that opportunity to kind of work together as a community to reflect on who we are. But as of late, in light of the tragedy of Temple Israel, it just took a whole deeper meaning. It has truly found its place in that moment. United in service, together we shine. We are seeing West Bloomfield and all of Oakland County just come together in such a unified and compassionate way. So for me, our theme is not just a theme. It's what we are actively living out. Like we're living it out this day. It's how we are showing up for one another, how we continue to move forward together, and we share one community and one mission. So it means it's highly meaningful.
That's right, and this message honors so many people, everyone who's done such great work in Greater West Bloomfield all throughout the year, and like I said, especially within the last several weeks. And yes, like I mentioned, this event typically takes place at Temple Israel, but of course, with the recent tragedy, it has been moved over to Shenandoah Country Club. Mm-hmm. Can you walk us through the decision to move the event over to Shenandoah?
Oh, sure. Well, the decision to move, it was very thoughtful, very carried out with the community. Originally, as you share, we were hosting the event at Temple Israel. And I really want to take this opportunity to first just acknowledge how incredibly supportive Temple Israel have been throughout this entire process. In light of the tragic events, Temple Israel reached out to us and directly and was very transparent and shared that, we would no longer be able to have the event, to take place at this particular location. So at the same time, they illustrated a very strong commitment to supporting and under the unforeseen circumstances, like just helping us. And that level of partnership and care, it means a great deal to us. We are forever grateful. But from there, Shenandoah Country Club stepped in. They stepped in right away. And with that same spirit of support, just allowing us to transition the event and still honor the purpose and the integrity of Michigan Week.
That's right. Even when something like this happens in West Bloomfield, the show must go on, and it's very important that this event takes place this year and every year. How important was it to continue the event despite the challenges surrounding the recent tragedy?
Well, we are mindful and we're respectful of what our community has experienced. Coming together in this way allows us to support one another, reflect, reinforce the strength as a community. This event is not just about celebration, it's about connection, it's about resilience. And moving forward, it sends a message that we stand together. Even in difficult times, we will stand together.
For those just joining us on the Splash Live right now, I'm talking with Dr. Kiana Smith, who's going to be the chair of the 54th Annual Michigan Week Awards Breakfast taking place on Thursday, May 7th at the Shenandoah Country Club, a new location from Temple, Israel, where it's taken place the last several years. And like you said, we are honoring our heroes. We are honoring everybody at this year's event. Why was it important to acknowledge and recognize the local heroes who responded during that incident at Temple, Israel?
Well, our local heroes, they step forward with professionalism, compassion, courageous, and recognizing them is about more than just appreciation. You know, it's about ensuring that their actions are seen, you know, valued, we remember, and they represent the very best of our community. And it's important that we honor that.
That's right. And with this event, I mean, I'd imagine that there's so many honorees and nominees that are going to be honored with the Michigan Week Awards Breakfast. What stands out to you about this year's group of people being honored?
Well, this group of honorees are individuals from all different parts of the community. And what stands out most about them is their commitment to service. We all saw firsthand what it looks like when the community comes together, and these honorees reflect that spirit. They truly reflect that, and they embody what it means to be united in service.
That's absolutely right, and that includes so many different people, those who are out on the front lines, and even those who kind of stay back and do a lot of the work that maybe doesn't always get recognized throughout the community. So, Kiana, why is it so important to spotlight individuals who often serve behind the scenes?
When I think of those that serve behind the scenes, I'm reminded of in the book of Colossians, how it talks about whatever you do, work in it with all your heart. And that scripture speaks volumes to protect with excellence, even when no one is watching. And that's what so many of our honorees represent. So taking the time to recognize them, it truly matters. It affirms that their work is seen and that leadership is not always about being in the spotlight. It's about the impact, and it's not really just about being in the spotlight.
I love that. It's about the impact and what that truly resonates throughout the community. I got a few more questions before we wrap things up, Kiana. When this event is all said and done, when everyone attends the Michigan Week Breakfast, what message do you hope attendees take away about community service and civic engagement after this event?
Yes, I think my true hope is that people leave feeling inspired. Just being reminded that we all have a role to play in strengthening our community. Service doesn't have to be big. It just has to be intentional. If each of us, commit to showing up, supporting one another, staying engaged, like the theme says, we will truly shine.
There it is. That's all that we're looking for. We're just looking for people to arrive and to be inspired by what they see at this event. Last question, Kiana. Where can people go to maybe try and get involved with helping out for Michigan Week and to gain a little bit more information about what to expect?
Yes. MichiganWeek.org. You can go to the website. The website has been updated with our new location. You can register. You can volunteer. So yes, please visit MichiganWeek.org.
All right, that's the place to go, and so much to look forward to with the Michigan Week Awards Breakfast coming up very, very soon. Kiana, thank you so much for joining us today here on the Splash Live.
Thank you.
Once again, the 54th Annual Greater West Bloomfield Michigan Week Community Awards Breakfast will be taking place on Thursday, May 7th at 7 a.m. at the Shenandoah Country Club. It's going to be a great event. This event means so much to the community every single year, even more so this year. So we want to see as many people attend it and to be showing their respect and to be celebrating Greater West Bloomfield. At Orchard Lake St. Mary's High School, a moving and inspiring hockey match took place recently involving some familiar hockey heroes, all working to raise awareness for cerebral palsy. The Michigan UCP Pucksters took on Detroit Red Wings alumni to inspire the crowd and to help kids battling with the condition. It's one of my favorite events every year, and I got to speak with some of the visitors of this year's event to hear what this support truly means to them.
I think it's outstanding because it really shows that our community of individuals with disabilities across our state is larger than people realize. 1 in 4 Americans have some sort of disability in our country, so that's pretty substantial. And over 250,000 cases of CP happen yearly in the U.S. As far as diagnoses. So again, it is something that is prevalent in our community, but it's also something where individuals with all abilities can enjoy a great sport and just have a great day.
Do you have any personal connection with cerebral palsy?
I sure do. My cousin has cerebral palsy, and we grew up down the street from each other. So grew up in in a really supportive community, and it's why I do the work I do now.
So Craig, you came all the way from Peck, Michigan, over an hour away to be here tonight. Is that correct?
Correct. Yep. My son has cerebral palsy and some other issues, and so we want to make sure that we support it and get him out and actually get to see some hockey and have a good time. It's good. It's a good opportunity just to get him out with everyone else, people that have light conditions or not light conditions, and just let him be him and be out and enjoy the hockey game. So it's a good time.
Everything that they do, what does it mean to you to see all of this devotion and all of this attention being brought on cerebral palsy?
It's great because there's so many causes that go out for different issues that children have, and to have one that actually is diagnosed for, like my son, is a great opportunity for other kids to have that ability to see this, be able to benefit from it, and have a good time.
Well, that's what makes it worthwhile. I mean, you see them smiling just to have us, all we're doing is come out and playing hockey, and we're hopefully raising a lot of money and putting smiles on their faces.
It's really great to be recognized and for folks to see that the community is so broad and diverse. Coming here, being supportive, being able to engage with everyone, and just seeing some super cool players who also care enough about the cause to be part of the work here.
What do you hope are the biggest things people take away from being here on events like this?
Well, it's just that you can always give back, especially kids to see that at any point, no matter if you're younger or you're getting older, you can always give back.
The biggest obstacle to success and to fulfillment is, getting over fear. So it can be very fearful when you don't know what the resources are, but that is a great advantage of attending an event like this one, like the annual sled hockey game here at Orchard Lake St. Mary's Ice Arena, because it has a plethora of resources that everyone can be around.
It's such a fun night over at Orchard Lake St. Mary's High School. All of these people, these Detroit Red Wings legends, and all of these residents throughout the greater West Bloomfield community, all to help these kids with cerebral palsy. It's such an inspiring event, and it's going to get even better in the years to come. 2 exciting art shows are coming to West Bloomfield, a familiar favorite and a new showcase. The Orchard Lake Fine Arts Show will be making its grand return this July, and the brand new West Bloomfield Fine Arts Show will be making its debut this June at West Bloomfield High School. Patty Narozny, the executive producer of both of these events, joined us on the Splash Live recently to give us a preview of what we could expect for art season in the community.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Of course, love having you on because I love talking about the Fine Arts Show. It's one of, if not maybe my favorite event to look forward to in Greater West Bloomfield. I promise I'm not just saying that. And with this brand new art show, it's just bringing double the excitement. So what inspired you to launch the West Bloomfield Fine Arts Show in 2026?
West Bloomfield. What inspired us is we were looking for another show in Michigan, and West Bloomfield is great to work with, and so is the school district. And Katrina Crane was very open from the community education department about alternative locations at one of the schools. So we added a second show, June 20 and 21, at West Bloomfield High School, which is farther north than our current event, 23 years, the Orchard Lake Fine Arts Show. And what really inspired us is the jobs and the manufacturing coming back from all the auto companies and all the Midwest jobs that are coming back to Michigan, which is really why we inspired another show in Michigan.
Interesting. I love that. And as you said, it's going to be taking place at West Bloomfield High School. The event will be June 20th and 21st. Now, we've seen the Orchard Lake Fine Arts Show for quite a few years now. We've seen the types of artists and the types of creators that tend to be brought in for that show. How is this new show? How is that going to be different from the Orchard Lake Fine Arts Show?
Well, we bring artists to Michigan that don't do Michigan shows, because right now I'm having this interview in Bradenton, Florida, where I live year-round. And we just hosted 13 shows in Florida, in Sarasota, and Boca Raton, Naples, Tampa, and West Palm Beach. And so that's how we bring artists to Michigan. The West Bloomfield show at the high school will give artists who can't make it to the July show an opportunity to come to Michigan and sell and feature their work.
Interesting. So providing more opportunities for these wonderful artists to showcase as many of them as possible for the people of Greater West Bloomfield. I love it. Now, for this very first show for West Bloomfield, I mean, curating the artist lineup, I mean, that's got to be a tall order, especially for the very first of its kind in West Bloomfield. How are you curating the artist lineup for this first year?
So jurying doesn't mean jurying. It depends on the actual show. And I'm now the curator after many years of being trained. Many people know of Ann Kuffler from Ariana Gallery in Royal Oak. She's been closed about 15 years. But she really helped me give some great direction as to what to look for with the artists. And we produce now over 150, 200 shows if you include our Florida lineup. So pretty much I know many of the artists now, and because we've been doing shows 25 years, and some of our shows are top 100, including the Orchard Lake Fine Arts Show, we started doing something simple for artists who participated with us for a minimum of 5 shows. Is they're juried in as long as we have the space, and they have to tell us soon enough to make sure that they can reserve a space. So we try to waive it for many of the artists that support us for many, many years. But there's an electronic jurying system called Zapplication. It's application with the letter Z in front of it, .org, and we're members of it. We're started way in the beginning with them. And the artists need to submit 3 images of their most compelling work, along with one of their booth presentation that they would set up at the show. And the work is based on originality as number 1, technique, execution, and then booth appearance. Now, we work with many new artists who don't have a booth. So Hotworks recently invested. We're the only Michigan company for sure, and I think I'm the only woman company in the entire United States that has purchased 28 light dome tents, which are specific for art shows. And the light dome tents are a certain kind of tent for artists to allow the light to shine through onto their work, like from the daylight. It's not a heavy top covering. And then we also invested in pro panels, which are walls to hang the artwork. So we're bringing our tent company to Michigan, and West Bloomfield schools. You'll see our truck parked there for 5 weeks at the schools. And it's our tent company. And so for artists who are new and they don't have a booth presentation, they can submit images of their most compelling work and say, hey, we don't have a booth, we're new. And then we jury based on their work. And if they don't have a way, like if they're going to invest in a tent or a setup, then we're happy to rent them. And that's how we make the show more standard, and it looks more professional with those beautiful brand new tents that we have.
Interesting. Providing all these resources to make sure that every artist has exactly what they need to showcase their wonderful works at this amazing art show. For those just joining us on the Splash Live, I'm talking with Patty Narozny, the executive producer of both the Orchard Lake Fine Art Show and the brand new West Bloomfield Fine Art Show, which will be taking place in the coming months throughout Greater West Bloomfield. Now, I'm curious, Patty, how will these two shows work together to strengthen the regional art scene, especially what we see right here in Michigan?
Oh, yeah. Well, anytime you bring art to the community, it strengthens the community, period. I mean, art is just beautiful, and it brings everyone together. There's no politics involved in art, which is the great thing about that. And just everyone from the entire world is part of the events. And with all the jobs that are coming to Michigan, it'll allow people to have something great to do for these 2 weekends and enjoy art. We'll have food trucks at the Orchard Lake Fine Art Show. We'll have great entertainment. And they're great community events to go out and have fun and bring the family. Both shows will integrate a kids art competition. These are unique, one of a kind art competitions. I made it up about 2004, I believe, and to date we've exposed 5,000 students to the roles and entrepreneurship opportunity of doing art shows for a living. At the West Bloomfield show at the high school, this competition is for grades 6 through 12, appropriately for the high school students. And then at the Orchard Lake Fine Art Show on Powers and Daly, the student art competition there is for grades K through 8 or ages 5 to 13. And again, West Bloomfield Schools helps us get the word out for the students who can submit up to 2 of their original pieces. It's $3 to enter because we want serious entries only. And they can enter up to 2 entries. The work is displayed at the art show duration of the event. And on Sunday at 3 p.m., we have a presentation with winners, and it's the way we expose students to the roles and entrepreneurship opportunity of doing something they love for a living.
Wonderful, wonderful. So there, I mean, again, you're really setting the scene, and I can't wait to see all of the amazing artists at both the West Bloomfield Art Show and the Orchard Lake Fine Art Show. And with the Orchard Lake Fine Art Show having had gone on for several years at this point, what do you think continues to make it such a standout event every single year?
Well, we work year round. It may look easy to do, but it's not. You know, it's every show throughout this season in Florida. We've been promoting West Bloomfield and the Orchard Lake Fine Art Show to all the artists, to all the patrons. So it's a cross promotion. There's many patrons from Florida that go to Michigan, Michigan that go to Florida, and we're branding ourselves so people know to look out for this event because we bring artists that you don't see at other shows.
That's exactly right. So many artists from all across the United States coming by right here in Greater West Bloomfield to showcase what they have to the community. I got a couple more questions before we wrap things up, Patty. Are there any new elements that we should be looking forward to this year with either of these art shows?
Well, I'm sure there'll be some new artists that you're not going to see. You know, we've had 13 shows down here, and there's many that didn't know about the Michigan shows, so they want to come to Michigan. So it's all about the number one focus with these events is the visual arts. It's the paintings, clay, glass, jewelry, fiber, wood, photography, mixed media. That's our focus. And hopefully you'll see artists that normally don't come to Michigan, and it'll be fresh and new for many of the patrons to see.
That's right. So make sure you mark your calendars for June 20th and 21st for the West Bloomfield Art Show and July 25th and 26th for the Orchard Lake Fine Art Show. Patty, last question. What would you like to say to residents looking forward to the summer art season this year?
Well, get out and enjoy and learn and look and love and our motto is see art, love art, buy art. So anything, you know, if you're not sure, if you're looking to purchase something, if you love it, buy it. That's the bottom line.
That's right. Look for something. If you see something that maybe you think would be really good in your home, don't be afraid to hand over some cash and to take it home to spruce up the house. I mean, I think everyone's going to look forward to that. Patty, thank you so much for joining us today here on the Splash Live.
Thank you, Jake, and Civic Center TV.
Lots of amazing opportunities to see some art in the community. Once again, the Orchard Lake Fine Art Show will be making its grand return this July, and the brand new West Bloomfield Fine Art Show will be making its debut this June at West Bloomfield High School. That's going to do it for us today here on the Splash Live. Big thank you to all of our guests and for everybody on the Splash Live team for helping to make this show possible. I've been your host, Jake Schaff. Live, local, social. It's the Splash Live on Civic Center TV.